Hi, it's Kim with the Everyday Sage, and I wanted to share a little book that I found at a library used book sale, and I was really excited about it, and I thought this little 187-year-old book deserved a moment in the sun in 2025, so let me show you. Okay, so here is my cute little book that I found at the library in the used book section. It was $3, and when I opened the book up and saw that somebody had signed the book in 1839, my heart just did bibliophile, little heart flips. It was really exciting. And the book is called Town's Spelling Book, and it was published in 1838. And I did quite a bit of research on the author's name was Salem Town, and I even went down a whole rabbit hole and found out where he lived in New York. He was in the state senate at one point. He was a Mason. He had, I believe it was 5 sons and 3 daughters. I found his information on, Find a Grave, the cemetery where he's buried. He died in Indiana. I think he was 84 years old, and I will pop some of the pictures up there of his grave and, that information. And his farmhouse that he purchased probably about 20 years before this book was written is on a National Historic Registry in the state of New York, so that was kind of cool. But what I really thought was so neat about some of the details in the book are, things that you can't just open it up once and look at. You've got to kind of spend some time really going through it. And this book is not worth a lot of money, and but its value doesn't lie in what it could bring financially. So, it says, in presenting this book to the public, the author feels bound to briefly assign his reasons. Should these reasons be valid, he has no doubt the public will sustain him. All the spelling books now in use follow out the same uniform plan of arranging words according to their sounds and syllables, irrespective of their import. On that plan, they are generally well executed and would admit of little improvement, but something still farther than judicious arrangement and correct pronunciation must ultimately be acquired to consummate the object of practical utility in view. So anyway, this was a textbook that I am assuming Charles Goodrich in 1839 was one of the owners of this book and used in that way. Now, one of the other things that I thought was really neat was reading lessons. Page 48, reading lessons, and you can see they cut it. You see it's cut here. So somebody cut the bottom half of this page, and I looked it up. It is, you can find the full text of the book. And lesson 7 that the person cut away here says, when the sun is up, it is day. When the sun goes down, it is night. The sun makes it light. The earth goes around the sun once in a year. The moon goes around the earth once in a month. So some child in antiquity felt that was an important enough passage to cut out and save. And I thought that was very interesting, really cool. When you go to the back of the book, this also I found very, very interesting. You can look, I can get it in the camera here. See the little dots there. There we go. And on the back side, you can also see where they poked through. You can even feel it's raised. And, I've looked up everything. I've submitted it to Google and AI and tell me what this is. And all it kept wanting to tell me what this was bookworms. I don't believe that this is a bookworm. And the reason being, here's what I think happened. I think that a child or young person that had this book this is a quill that I have. I actually used it to write calligraphy for some of my wedding invitations. But I think this quill, or they had a quill, and I think they were just sitting mindlessly, ... and they were, making a little design or not even just really paying attention to what they were doing. And the reason I think that is because, well, highly romanticized version, of course, but I took a little piece of paper myself, if I can get it to focus, and tried it myself with my quill, and you can see it did leave little marks similar to that. So that's what I think happened. Quills didn't, the metal nibs for the quills, the bottom part being metal, didn't happen until approximately on a mass way until the 1830s or 40s. So it's possible this wasn't an actual real quill. It was possible it had the little metal, the nib is what actually did that, which would have been pointier and harder and left a better point. But I just dearly love the idea of a child sitting there listening to their teacher, bored, and just tapping that little design into the book. There are some words at the top or letters at the top. I can't really read what it says. There is a 5, so not really sure about the rest or the designs. But yeah, really neat. And then my very favorite thing, you can imagine my surprise when I opened it up and I found a dried flower in the book. And let's see if I can pull it out. You can see. So someone put this little flower in this book to keep. And you have to wonder, was it, maybe whatever young person had this book and somebody that they loved or cared about, or maybe they just had a crush, or maybe they, had given it to them and they wanted to save it and preserve it, or maybe they just thought it was pretty and they picked it and decided to press it in the book. But I'd like to think the more romanticized version, that this was given to someone that, or given to them by someone that they loved. So, and they kept it in this little book. And so for 187 years, this little book's secrets have been maintained, and it ended up in my hands in 2025, and I'm really excited about that. And I just wanted to share. I hope you enjoyed.